around some of the jobs that we've done over the years. We'll have a walk, talk, look round, see what's going on. May even catch some of the new jobs that we're on as well. Even before the company started, my grandparents worked in Birmingham city centre, particularly my granddad, labouring, digging tram track. So yeah, that's pretty much where it all started. We're coming in on the train, carbon, you know, thinking about our footprint. This is the way that I used to travel in every day when we were doing, to date, the biggest job that we've ever done, which was Birmingham New Street. We were there for 30 weeks to start off with, and then ended up being there for 6 years. So looking forward to going back and having a walk around that. So just as we're coming up here, you see the job on the right hand side where the Tesco Express is? That was a challenging city centre debuild, just pretty much because where it is. Totally pedestrianised area, public safety, services, traffic movements, obviously material movements. Clearly one of the most dangerous environments to be working in because you're dealing with the public who are not really trained or knowledgeable in what we do. So we really have to keep an eye out. Okay, so we're here at Birmingham Town Hall. It's a Grade 1 listed building, probably one of the most famous buildings in Birmingham. We were proud enough to have worked on it over 15 years ago. Very sensitive demolition, working in and around gold leaf, protected artefacts, non-least the historic organ that is in there, that we had to make sure that there was no dust, no vibration, and none of the bits went missing during the time that we were there. But yeah, we were on site for 40 weeks, removed about 7,000 tonnes of concrete, and really, you know, it was great to be part of the transformation of this part of the city. One of our proudest jobs yet. Although my family are from Ireland, I was born in Birmingham. I love this city. The amount of work that's going into it, it's transforming on a day-by-day basis. It's no surprise to me that a lot of people are looking to move to Birmingham, live here and invest in Birmingham. It really is an amazing place to live and work. So there's a big master plan for Birmingham city centre, and it's all about accommodating growth, better infrastructure and providing a quality of life for people in Birmingham. And one of the things that they've been working on is Paradise Circus, and you can see the fantastic job that they've done here, but it's all about connecting other parts of the city to each other, which create that ability for the city to grow and prosper. The financial quarter, and there's a number of jobs in close proximity that we did there over a good few years. And this is called Edmund Street. It's part of the financial district in Birmingham. So a lot of banks, lawyers, accountants, different types of business that work in and out of the city. Well equipped, good infrastructure. We're getting connected to London in a better way than ever now with HS2. That'll see us being able to get down into Birmingham in London, 45, 50 minutes. And yeah, it's a growing city that's really on the up and is doing really well for itself, standing out amongst our European counterparts. We've pretty much done a load of work in this area. We did this a number of years ago. We're currently working up there behind you at Colmore Row right at the minute. We did 55 Colmore Row right next door to it. We're working in amongst lawyers, accountants. Typically they're not too keen on noise, dust and vibration. People moving in and out, big haulage, vehicles, plant and equipment. So this was a project called Pete House, 12 or 13 storey office block. We had to take it down with a luffing jib tower crane, take it down in pieces, bit at a time, large panel construction. And we were fine up until we came down to that sort of third or fourth level there. And the breakers, the noise, it just got too much. So in the end, we had to work with these lawyers and try and get this job finished. It was very challenging. Let's say that towards the end of the job, we weren't getting on so well, but by the time we were out of there, we'd all kissed and made up. But you know, it's very difficult sometimes, particularly going back years and years ago. The technology and the equipment wasn't there to be as considerate, thoughtful. You know, it just wasn't available, but now we're able to do so many things differently, work in these environments without people even really knowing that we're here. Yeah, so this is 55 Colmore Row. It's been transformed, converted from an old, out-of-date office block into something that's now top-end, grade 1 office space. Soft strip, asbestos removal, structural alterations, cut and carve, demolition in parts. You can see, again, little or no access. Very, very heavy built-up part of town. Challenging job. Again, limited amount of access in and out of the building, so we couldn't properly get the vehicles in the way that we'd liked. So that means you have to move it into smaller pieces, into them bigger containers, and then swap it over again and take it out. So logistically challenging, but you can see we've got lots of experience working in this area. Funnily enough, our lawyers are right next door as well, so we didn't get any complaints off that one. Generally, with a grade 2 listed building, it's the facade that's retained, and then the rest of the structure is either altered or demolished with a new structure built behind it. Here we've got a temporary structure over the top of the building, which is enabling us to do sensitive work without letting the elements damage the wood or any of the products that we're saving for the reconstruction into the new build. If you want to be in the premier address, yeah, which this pretty much is in Birmingham, you know, if you're a big blue chip client, company, you want to make a presence, you need to be in the heart of the city. I'm sure we all feel it. You go into an old building that's been sympathetically restored, and in terms of how it makes you feel, it's great, isn't it? You know, that ambience, whether it's a hotel or the new library that we've had built. Yeah, it's creating memories, moment, space, you know, all to support how you feel and how you live your life. So yeah, this area of town is historically known for bars, clubbing. We've done a load of blocks here. This one with facade retention, took down the whole block, remediated the site. And then as we go down, you'll see that we've done another number of jobs down there as well. Again, facade retention, structural alterations, full damage from fire, you know, recovery after a fire. So this was a fire damage job. It was an old nightclub, Edwards number 8. Structurally dangerous after the fire. Retained facades, demolition from behind, back propping to the basement. There's also this office block that we did here. We took the top 2 stories off that, stripped it all out, structural alterations. So again, another little cluster of jobs in and around this area. So here we are at Birmingham New Street, one of our largest contracts that we've ever completed, certainly the most challenging that we've ever delivered, right in the centre of Birmingham city centre, one of the busiest stations in the UK, hugely complex cut and carve demolition project, which lasted from initially with a 30-week programme up to 6 years. We started with the NCP car park. We had to remove I think about 6,000 tonnes of reinforced concrete, but it had to be done without any noise, dust or vibration, above live platforms with 200 mil of concrete between us and the 130,000 passengers a day that travel through the station or to and from the station. We had to come up with something that was different, radically different, and really met the client's requirements, and we spent a lot of time working on that. So we came up with the concept of installing gantry cranes that ran on the upper level of the car park, and we supported the beams that we were removing with complex temporary works. Some of the temporary works were sliding, rolling, components that would fit together in any combination to suit any length of beam, and basically we then used concrete cutting technology, wire sawing, cut beams out that were 2.5 metres wide by 1.5 metres deep, lifted them out with the crane, straight out onto the back of a lorry, where they were then taken away to our quarry in Meriden, where the concrete was recycled. Many tonnes of the material that were removed from the demolition process were returned back into the project and incorporated in the construction. True circular economy in terms of trying to make sure that we're using whatever materials that we can that arise from the works. Originally, this floor level that you see here, that's the original concrete structure to the car park. This ended up being a variation to the contract. Not a good variation because it was one where concrete was left in. The challenge of removing huge chunks of concrete with limited working height, only 2.2 metres below the beam and 2.2 metres above the beam. Bear in mind, this is a live railway station, 130, 140,000 people a day. We're dealing with the structure in such a way to make sure that it's safe throughout the duration of the works. I think over the course of the project, we submitted something like 220 different temporary work schemes for delivering the work over the 6-year period. We just assumed, wrongly, that because the car park would take the load of 300 or 400 vehicles, that we'd turn up with our little bobcat to just start clearing up and start scooping out, and our client said, "You can't do this. You've got to prove that that bobcat can stand on the floor." It's a construction site now, it's Network Rail standards. We then ensued on 30 or 40 weeks of pain just to get the bobcat onto the slab. We had to get the historic drawings for the construction, and in the end we found a little office where we were able to access. We had to strip out the office, go up into the ceiling, nibble off bits of concrete, do trial pitting, prove that the building was built as per the drawings, which we did. So the irony is, the time that we had to actually carry out the work was consumed with the floor loadings and the temporary works approvals to ensure that when we put equipment onto the slab, it was going to be safe and it wouldn't cause damage. It really conditioned us well into working in the station, being able to deliver temporary work solutions, engineered demolition solutions. We were then working round the clock, 24/7. They couldn't afford to have any more delays. But that work then grew into being one of our biggest contracts, circa 35 million over the 6 years. And one of the big things we learnt on this project was about lean construction and lean construction techniques and how you apply that to demolition. And we'll talk about that a bit more when we get into the atrium, because that really was the major success of the project.